Hello, Heroic Failures Part 2. This could go on for a long time. I've got a couple in mind. One's a biggie and one I'm actually quite ashamed of, to be honest, because it's so ridiculous, it really is. Goes back to mid-90s. I've been a Christian for 10 years or so, so I should really have known better. But the National Lottery had started literally a few weeks before that. Johnny had just been born. He was maybe under a year old. No, he was a few years old actually by then. Maybe it's 95. Anyway, one night, as what happens, he climbs out of his bed, goes into our bed, pushes me out of the bed, so I sleep in his bed. That night I had a vivid dream. In that dream, believe it or not, I was given 6 numbers. I can even tell you what they are now: 8, 10, 12, 16, 22, 30. And when I woke up I thought, that's interesting, because National Lottery, of which I'd had no interest in, I had 6 numbers and those numbers fall within the range. So, is this a prophetic dream? I've never had one before. Perhaps it is. So there you go. I purchased my lottery ticket, put those 6 numbers in, and incredibly 3 of them came up, which was a 40 to 1 chance, and I won £10, I think. And the other 3 numbers were really close. And it made me think, is this the first fruits of something the Lord is going to do for me? So, I was troubled for, I don't want to do the lottery every week. What's the point? Perhaps the Lord will give me a sign as to when I should do it, and then I'll know that will be when I'm going to win it. That's my thinking at the time. For some reason, I dreamed up a sign. Maybe this was a literal dream, I can't remember, but it was a bird that had green, yellow colouring on it. Okay, so that was in my mind at the time. Well, not too long after that, maybe a matter of a couple of weeks or so, I was picking Johnny up from school, and there's a piece of paper on the floor of a kid's drawing of a bird with yellow and green markings on it, which I picked up. Thought, well, this is more than a coincidence. So I put the numbers in again. Again, 3 numbers came up. The other 3 were nothing like it, but I win £10 again. What's going on here? Let's say that carried on for years. Anytime I felt that I needed money for a project, I thought, this is the Lord's just waiting for the right time for me to win the lottery and finance X, Y, or Z. And that actually informed my thinking for many, many years, and it was so ridiculous when I look back. I only managed to break it recently, and this is from an equally ridiculous way. I'm just walking where I'm now, more or less, in Fellow Waters. I said to the Lord, look, I'm just sick of all this thinking the money's going to come and expect it to come, and this lottery business and all that. I need guidance. I said the other way. I said, Lord, confirm to me that's the way it's going to happen on this trip before I go home. Confirm to me. Okay. Now, it's quite separate from this. When I get bored very easily. When I'm walking, sometimes I like to walk and close my eyes and see how long I can walk without opening them. And my record at that time was about 50 or 60 paces. There's this great big green stretch in front of me on the last leg of my little walk. So I thought, let's try for 100. So there I go. So I close my eyes and pace forward 100 paces. When I opened my eyes, I didn't recognise anything, because what had happened is that I'd done a 180 degrees turn, which is incredible. It doesn't happen. When I do a 50 or a 40 or 50, when I open my eyes, I'm more or less on the same path. This, I'd actually managed to turn 180 degrees, and immediately the thought came to me that, I'm not in control of this. The Lord's in control. He has done this to me supernaturally, I do believe, to show that, don't start laying down laws and foundations for this, that, or the other. the Lord will do what the Lord will do. And from that moment on, I totally, after 20 years or 30 years or whatever, I said, that's it, I'm not going to bother with this superstition. Let's say, if the Lord wants to finance it, and I'm glad to say he hasn't financed anything in my whole career, because I'm not to be trusted with money. I'm pretty certain of that. He gave us a grant. A grant came through last year, which I used for us to go on that retreat in January, and which was a major blessing for all of us. So the Lord knows, he knows. There was one project that I really wanted to be financed, because it just seemed so good, and I had it tested by experts and they agreed, and it was an evangelism project on the web using artificial intelligence. I'd worked out a plan, I'd worked out the structure of a process where it would work, and I've had it looked at and it would have worked. The trouble is, it needed a vast team of volunteers to actually get the thing inputted into it, and more importantly a team of programmers to actually do the work to get the thing up and running, which would have cost, I think, up to £100,000. So my prayer at that time was £100,000. Lord, provide the money, this project is for you, it's the best I've ever thought of. I think I've got the people who can run it. I had a programming team in Birmingham who were willing to do it if I found the £100,000, and it all looked like it was the right thing. I went on a course with stewardship for finding major donors, and I searched around for potential donors, and let's say everything came to nothing. So the lesson I've learned: heroic failures. Don't stretch yourself. Don't anticipate what the Lord is going to do, even if it seems the most wonderful thing. And that's a lesson I thought I'd learned 40 years ago, but I keep reverting back to type. And all I can say now, it's not going to happen again. I'm not into big projects. What I'm thinking and hoping at the moment is just something, just for me and no one else. I don't want teams, I don't want structures, I don't want ministries and all this sort of stuff. I just want to do and be where the Lord wants me to be. Hopefully no more heroic failures, but I'm sure if there are any, you'll hear it from me first here. Okay, have a good day.